What's happening, guys? Supernova here, back with another video. First, the breaking news. PlayStation has revealed the new date for their rescheduled PlayStation 5 event, and it's going to be on June 11th, which is pretty exciting. I'm excited to see what these games are going to look like and hopefully find out what the goddamn consoles are going to look like, because at this point I think we've all waited long enough to know, so hopefully we get to see that. Also, before I get into this video, I wanted to clear something up about a video I made yesterday. I made a video yesterday about Phil Spencer. Now, that video was in no way intended to compare him to Mark Cerny. Now, the day prior, I had made a video about Mark Cerny, and I'd seen a lot of comments saying maybe I should do one about Phil Spencer. So I decided to try to make one about Phil Spencer. But it wasn't intended to compare him to Mark Cerny. That wouldn't be fair, as they don't hold the same position in their respective companies. Phil Spencer is head of Xbox. Mark Cerny is just the lead architect on PlayStation 5. That is not the same position. I also noted that Phil Spencer's career history is not as impressive as Mark Cerny's, but that wasn't a shot at Phil Spencer. This is why, along with Phil Spencer's Wikipedia page, I also pulled up the Wikipedia of Jack Tretton and Sean Layden, who were heads of PlayStation. And as I demonstrated, their career histories also were not too impressive. I was trying to be fair, and somehow it came off as me trying to compare Phil Spencer to Mark Cerny. So anyone who got that impression, I apologize that you got that impression, but that wasn't the intention of the video. I also asked in that video, legitimately and honestly, for people to tell me why it is that they love Phil Spencer. And of course, as I assumed, I got a lot of comments that were just name-calling, fanboy bullshit. But I did get a lot of comments that were also legitimate, honest answers. So to all of you who gave me real answers, I do appreciate it. So from what I can understand, most of you who do love Phil Spencer really love him more for his charisma and his attitude than anything else. You love him because he feels like one of you guys, and he comes off as someone who's a legitimate gamer and not just a suit. So I can understand that. Many of you also believe that he course corrected after Don Matrick was kind of heading Xbox in a direction that we didn't want. And you think that he did a really good job in his course correction. And I can understand you believing that as well. And now I'm going to get into the video and explain to you why I am so hard on Microsoft and Phil Spencer as well. Believe it or not, the reason I criticize Xbox so much and give them so much shit is not because I'm a PlayStation fanboy and look to bash Xbox at every chance I get. It is because I care about Xbox. I have gotten every single Xbox day one, with the exception of the Xbox One. I was actually the first in and out of my local GameStop with my 360. The reason I didn't get an Xbox One day one, I think, is pretty obvious. It's for all the same reasons that we were all upset at Xbox at that time. It was the DRM policies we didn't want, and all of the talk about TV shows and all this other shit that wasn't gamer-centric that really rubbed us all the wrong way. And that's why I didn't get an Xbox One day one. And like I said, this is the first Xbox I didn't get day one, or the first Xbox, in fact, that I didn't even bother to pre-order. I also didn't like that they were pushing the Kinect camera on us. I didn't purchase the Kinect for my 360 because, to me, the games that used it were equivalent to Wii games, and they just weren't games I was interested in. So the fact that they were forcing me to purchase the Kinect camera with the Xbox was not something I was interested in. I also want to point out, for those of you who may not remember, that Xbox told us that the new Kinect camera and the Xbox One were designed in tandem and were necessary for each other to function. They basically told us that the Xbox One could not function without the Kinect, that they were integrated so deeply into each other's design that they could not be split up. Now, I knew that was bullshit. I'm pretty sure we all knew it was bullshit. And sure enough, in May of 2014, Microsoft announced they were now selling the Xbox One at $399 without the Kinect camera. Now, while this was really good news because it meant both A, price drop to the console, and B, not having to purchase it with a peripheral that nobody wanted, It doesn't change the fact that Microsoft lied to us. And for those of you Xbox loyalists that were early adopters of the Xbox One, what did you get for your loyalty? Xbox basically extorted you for an extra $100 and forced you to live with a peripheral you probably gave zero shits about. This only helped make me more jaded towards Microsoft. And look, I'm not saying that Sony doesn't lie or hasn't lied. I'm just saying that this is one of the reasons why I was upset about Microsoft at the very beginning of the generation. And I hope you can understand that. Now here's where we are going to have the biggest issue, and when I say we, I mean me and Xbox fans and fanboys. I think we have a fundamental difference of opinion when it comes to how Phil Spencer has handled Xbox, or the things he's done as head of Xbox, or the things Xbox has done since kicking down Magic to the curb and promoting Phil Spencer. One of the big reasons I give Phil such a hard time and Xbox such a hard time, though, is the cancellation of games. Phil canceled Scalebound. That happened under Phil Spencer at a time where Xbox was asking for more exclusive games. He canceled Scalebound, and sure, there may be some internal reasons as to why that happened, but he canceled Scalebound, but then greenlit Crackdown 3. From what I could tell, Xbox fans were far more interested and excited for Scalebound than they ever were for Crackdown 3. He also canceled Fable Legends, and then closed down Lion's Head Studios. Again, there may be internal reasons why that happened, but still showing us the games, telling us the games were coming, and then canceling them, it didn't do a whole lot to fix how I felt about Xbox. And to anyone who wants to defend it, imagine if PlayStation had come out and teased Horizon Zero Dawn, showed us the trailer where Aloy is fighting the Thunderjaw, and then inexplicably canceled the game. Just straight up canceled it. Didn't tell us why, just canceled it after we were super hyped for it. That's what Xbox did with Scalebound. And I'm not giving Xbox a pass for it, and if PlayStation had done it with Horizon Zero Dawn, I wouldn't have given them a pass either. Just like I'm sure you wouldn't have. And Xbox didn't just do that once, they did it twice, and the second time they did it with a well-established and beloved franchise. One that's so established and beloved that they're rumored to bring it back and have us all excited again. Fable is a rumored game for the Xbox Series X that has us super excited, yet they canceled Fable Legends and shut down the studio that created Fable. Me being a big fan of Fable, that also didn't do a whole lot to make me feel better about Xbox. Then there was the cloud computing. You guys remember the cloud computing? We were told that the power difference between the Xbox One and PS4 didn't matter because Microsoft was going to implement cloud computing, and it was going to give every Xbox One the power of 3 Xbox Ones. This was a narrative that Microsoft pushed heavily, especially leading up to the release of Crackdown 3. Well, cloud computing never happened, and here we are in 2020, leading into the next generation with Xbox Series X, which also does not have cloud computing. Now, I don't care about cloud computing, that's not the point. The point is that we were told by Microsoft for years that cloud computing was a thing and that they were going to have it, and that we were all going to have multiple times the power of the Xbox Ones. And it just never happened. And then there was HoloLens. Do you guys remember HoloLens? For those of you who don't remember, around the same time that PlayStation was showing off their PlayStation VR headset, Microsoft was showing off their AR headset called HoloLens. It was augmented reality, not virtual reality. They even did an entire E3 demonstration showing Minecraft. And I'm not gonna lie, it looked fucking awesome. I also like that instead of going VR against VR, Microsoft decided to go the approach of augmented reality. And there are just a lot of things you can do in AR that you can't do in VR. And I got super excited thinking about the ways they could implement AR into games or gameplay. And then just like that, Microsoft decided they're not going to sell it to consumers. Instead, they're going to sell it to businesses, and use it in trade shows, but they're not going to give it to us. Well then, why the fuck did they show it to us? It was such a dick tease that I was really pissed off with them after that. And again, keep in mind, all of these things happened under the leadership of Phil Spencer. And I'm not saying that Phil Spencer hasn't done good things or that Xbox hasn't done good things. They have. They both have. It's just that these are the things that have made me upset and jaded with Microsoft. And these were not small things, at least not to me. To me, these were big things. Just like there's some things that you may think he did good that you think are big deals, and to me may be not big deals. It's all subjective and it depends on how we look at the situation. I'm just trying to help you understand why I look at Microsoft the way that I do and why I feel the way I do towards Microsoft. He also pretty much just threw in the towel on this generation. I mean, look at this whole last year, all of 2020. The only new game that we're getting is Halo Infinite when the Series X launches. Microsoft pretty much just said, fuck this generation, it's over. We want to move into the next generation. And while some people say, yeah, that's good, we want to get all this shit behind us, and I can understand that mentality, at the same time, it's kind of like shitting on all the people who supported you and purchased consoles this generation. Think about the people who just bought Xbox One X's last Christmas. Why did they buy them? Xbox pretty much said, fuck this generation. Everything is now next generation. And I know the immediate defense for that is, well, they have Game Pass and backwards compatibility. The problem with that for me is where you may see that as a positive, good, amazing thing. I look at it as Microsoft is not giving us anything new. So they're saying, here's a bunch of old shit you can play, and here's a bunch of shit that's in Game Pass you can play. Play that because we don't have anything new to give you, and let that hold you over until next generation. And again, this is just how I personally feel. You may think that, this is amazing that we have these things. And I'm not saying that it's a negative to have backwards compatibility or Game Pass. Those are both really good things. Backwards compatibility is an awesome thing. Having all those games in Game Pass is an awesome thing and an amazing value for the gamer. But I still look at it as padding out the remainder of this generation because Microsoft is not delivering on the things that we purchased the consoles for. I don't know about you, but I didn't purchase my Xbox One X in order to play Xbox 360 games and the games that were in Game Pass. I bought them because I had the world's most powerful console and I was expecting brand new experiences that were going to take advantage of all that power. And really, Gears 5 is the only game that did that. And I know, again, right away the defense is going to be, well, all the multiplats look better. That's why you got an Xbox X. You got it because all of the multiplats are going to look and run better on the Xbox One X. And while that may be true, that may be the reason why you wanted to buy an Xbox One X. But it's not the reason why I did. So when I made my purchase, I felt like Microsoft wasn't delivering on my expectations as a purchaser of this hardware. Does that make sense? I mean, hell, for a while the only thing we even had was Super Lucky's Tale. And I'm sorry, that's not why I bought an Xbox One X. I bought it for the games like Gears 5, and I was expecting more games like Gears 5, but they never came. And the answer now is, well, on the Series X you're going to have those games. And it's like, why do I have to now purchase another piece of hardware or wait for the next generation? And I know the answer is, well, all the games are going to play just fine on the Xbox One X. And again, while that may be true, then why the hell would I want to buy the Xbox Series X? The things I want from Microsoft I don't think are big asks. All I ask is that they deliver awesome games. And they haven't delivered that. Not this entire generation. Sure, there were decent games, there were good games, and a couple great games. But for the most part, this entire generation, they were dry when it came to amazing games. And that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for anything crazy. People will ask me, why don't I give PlayStation shit, or why don't I give PlayStation a hard time? And the reason is, they're doing the one thing I'm asking them to do. They're giving me great games. And that's all I ask of them. Give me great games. And they're doing that. They're delivering on that. They also didn't show me any badass games and then cancel them. They didn't show me the PlayStation VR headset and then decide not to sell it to me. So there's not a whole lot I can really bitch at them for, because they are delivering, at least for me, the things that I want. And you need to understand that everyone's desires are not the same. The things that you want out of these companies may not be the same thing that I want. And I understand that, and that's perfectly fine. But if the things that I want are not the same as what you want, don't attack me for it. I just want different things than you do. I have different expectations for the money that I'm investing into these machines. So when it comes to Phil Spencer and Xbox, I don't feel that he's done a great job, and I don't feel that he's somehow turned the ship around. Because that is something that a lot of people say, oh, well, he turned Xbox around. But what exactly do you mean when you say he turned it around? Because if I were to say, oh, he turned Xbox around, I would mean that he did something that would start to close the gap between the sales of Xbox One and PlayStation 4. That was him turning the ship around. But that didn't happen. As a matter of fact, every year we saw that gap widen. And for all the people saying, oh, well, it takes a while for these things to happen. Oh, well, we gotta wait for he's making moves behind the scenes and it takes time for these big things to happen. Dude, Phil Spencer has been the head of Xbox since 2014. That's 6 years. And then I know, again, one of the quick defenses is going to be Phil Spencer just bought a bunch of studios. Games are coming. But let's be honest about this, guys. Most of the studios that Phil Spencer purchased are AA studios whose last games were not good games. Ninja Theory and maybe one or two others are the only studios that I would consider really good studios. The rest are not. And if we're being honest, I think we can all agree that they are not great studios. So I'm not expecting them to deliver anything mind-blowing in the next generation. As a matter of fact, all I'm expecting them to deliver is fodder for Game Pass. And look, when it comes to that, and this is my opinion, and only my opinion when it comes to Game Pass and all these other things is that Microsoft and Xbox don't care about selling us the consoles. That's why Phil Spencer has said multiple times, they don't care how many Xbox Ones they sell. They don't care how many consoles they sell us. All they care about is getting us into their Game Pass ecosystem, getting us into that monthly payment plan. Xbox doesn't have their eye on the hardcore gamers anymore. Their eye is now on the casual gamers. They're looking at all that money floating around in the mobile market space, and they're saying, we want a piece of that. And that's why Game Pass exists, and that's why xCloud is going to exist, because are you really going to play the next Gears of War on your cell phone? No, you're not. And anybody who says, oh yeah, I can't wait to play it on my cell phone, why the hell would you want to play Gears 6 on your cell phone? If I'm going to play Gear 6, it's going to be on my big-ass TV with my surround sound system, not on a cell phone. Plus, have you ever tried playing games like that on your cell phone? It's not easy. It's a pain in the ass. Your fingers cover up most of the screen. And sure, there's going to be these connections where you can attach your phone to your Xbox controller and play it with that. But are you going to carry that controller with you everywhere you go? Of course not. It's not realistic. And the thing is that it's going to be Game Pass games that are going to be the ones people are playing on their phone. It's going to be mobile quality games. It's going to be games that are freemium model, free to play looking, full of microtransactions, because that's where the money is. And again, I don't know for a fact that this is going to happen. This is my opinion. This is my honest feelings about the current direction of the company based on the things that they have done and the things that they have said. And that's why I have so many issues with Xbox, because me, as a hardcore gamer who loves my console, I do not like this direction. And I'm hoping that that's not what happens. I really am. And I'm hoping that all of these studios that Xbox bought, maybe with some additional funding from them, can turn out banger after banger of AAA quality games that are reasons why we need to own an Xbox. I'm hoping that's the case. I want Xbox to be fucking awesome in the next generation. I want Halo Infinite to be amazing. I want Fable when it comes out to be fucking amazing. I want Hellblade 2 to be amazing. I want these things. So if you get the impression that I don't want these things, or that I want Xbox to fail or want it to be bad, that's not at all what I want. Because if Xbox doesn't compete with PlayStation, then PlayStation's just going to kick their feet up. What reason do they have to push or innovate or make any good games? They don't anymore. Xbox needs to exist and be competitive in order for PlayStation to make better games. And likewise, PlayStation needs to compete and be competitive and push Microsoft to do the same. The only problem is this generation, Microsoft didn't do that. They gave up. And I lost a lot of respect for them for that. This is why I feel the way that I do. And for those of you out there who say, oh, he just makes these fanboy videos and he says what he thinks the people want to hear. If you've seen enough of my videos, you should know by now, I don't give a fuck about what people want to hear. I don't care. I don't make these videos for any of you. I make these videos for me. And if people enjoy the videos and content that I create, that's a plus. But at the end of the day, I'm not making them for anybody but myself. I'm excited for the Series X. I really am. Even though you may not get that impression from my videos. And like I've said many times, I will be getting it day one, along with my PS5. But I'm hoping that Xbox delivers the experiences worthy of my purchase of the Series X next generation. I'm hoping that I'm going to get games worthy of the money that I invested in the Series X. I don't have to worry about that on the PlayStation side. I know what to expect. Even though they haven't shown us anything, we all know what to expect come PlayStation next generation. And anyone who says they don't because PlayStation hasn't shown us any games yet, they're lying. They know what to expect from PlayStation next generation, they just don't want to admit it. Anyway, at this point, this has just become a long rant, but the bottom line is I don't hate Xbox. I don't trash Xbox because I prefer PlayStation. I'm upset with Xbox, and I think that I have legitimate reasons to be upset with Xbox. And I am hoping and waiting for the day to come where they fix that. It just hasn't happened yet. But when it does, trust me, I will be there and I will make videos praising Xbox for whatever they did that made me happy. It just hasn't happened yet. And I hope that all of you out there who think I'm this Xbox hating fucking pony PlayStation fanboy can understand where I'm coming from and why I feel the way I do and think the way I think about the direction Xbox is heading. Well, that's the video, guys. I didn't expect it to turn into a rant, but shit happens. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next Supernova.